Over the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal what I believe is the key to making 2026 your best year ever. The story that I'm going to share with you is originally revealed by a man named Dr. Bryce Pritchett from his book called U Squared. So in this story, there's a fly that's trapped inside this room and he's stuck, but he's trying to make it through to the other side in the real world. And what this fly is doing is he keeps flying straight into the window. So he flies, goes into the window, he gets stuck, and he repeats this process over and over and over again, and it's not working. And so this powerful story is actually a real life story. How many times have you seen a fly just trying to escape your room, your living room, even your bedroom, and all it does is just fly into the window where there appears to be light, and it keeps on doing it day in and day out, right? But the problem here is that doing the same thing over and over again will not lead to the success that you want to achieve in your life. With this fly, if all it did was stopped, took a step back, and see that 10 steps away, there is an open door for the fly to pass through and fly and escape to its freedom, then it would have achieved its goal and not have to suffer to its full demise and its death, and very painful death of just flying, hitting the window, and repeating it until it died on the windowsill. Unfortunately, this resonates with me and everything that I've tried to accomplish in my life. How many times have you tried to accomplish something and you just think that, it didn't work the first time, let me try it a second time. Didn't work again, let me try it a third time. Definitely didn't work the third time, let me try it again the fourth time. Still's not working, let me try the same tactic again, right? And you go in this vicious, non-ending cycle of trying again, and it's just not working. I remember the very first time that I was trying to change oil with my dad for a car. And of course, I didn't know what I was doing. So my dad was teaching me how to change the oil in the car. You know, you go underneath the car and you remove it. I didn't know what I was doing and I just kept on failing. I kept doing the same thing that I was doing over and over again. So I was beneath the car for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, just trying to position. I forget what the tool is called. You put it underneath and then you try to remove the oil cylinder, right? But it wasn't until my dad actually showed me like, oh, you got to position over here and then you got to move it like a certain direction so that it can loosen it, and then finally the oil will spill underneath the car, right? Seems very easy, but when you're trying to do it the very first time, it can be a struggle. And that was my struggle when I was trying to learn how to change oil in my car. But I kept trying and trying and trying for minutes and it didn't work. But it was only until I took a step back, I asked my dad for advice, and finally was I able to change the oil in the car. In the real world, I remember when I was applying to jobs right out of college. And I literally just cold applied to hundreds, maybe more than between 100 to 150 jobs online. Yeah, I got some calls back, but they weren't the kind of job that I wanted. It was only until I actually started to network with people and actually talk to real people that I started to make a breakthrough in landing interviews for jobs that I actually wanted. And it wasn't because I kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. It was because I tried something different. I stepped outside of my comfort zone. You know how easy it is to just sit behind a computer and just press submit online? We have the tendency, including myself, to just sit behind a computer desk and do the easy things, which are, let me just update this document and just submit it online into this online portal, or what I like to call the black hole that just sucks up your resume and you may never hear back ever again. But the hard truth here is that to get to where you want to be from point A to point B, if what you've been doing in the past has not been working and you haven't been experiencing any results, my friend, you have to try something different. For me, when I was applying to jobs, I had to talk to real people. I had to network with other of my colleagues and see like, hey, does your company actually have openings for project management roles? Or even when I was applying to engineering roles, I looked at companies I was interested in and I talked to people who I knew who worked in that company to see if I could get some kind of opening or a leg up into getting an interview for the company. And today, especially in the age of AI, the job market is so competitive, and the competitiveness of how we're competing against hundreds of applicants, you have to do things that help you stand out. no longer is the game where you can just try something and do it over and over and over again. You have to push yourself beyond this imaginary glass window, right? Like the story that I told you of the fly just trying to fly through this this glass windowsill, trying to escape its reality into freedom. But for us, perhaps we're trying to escape our current reality to land a new job opportunity. Perhaps we're trying to escape our current reality to attract our future girlfriend or significant other. Maybe we're trying to escape this current reality so that we can have a better health. Well, if you're trying to do things that haven't been working for you, right? You're chasing old routines, you're chasing old habits. If they haven't been working for you, then how can you expect to go to a new place that you've never been before? I was recently listening to an audiobook by Brian Tracy called No Excuses. And in it, he says this one powerful phrase that really resonated with me. To become a person you have never been before, you have to do things you've never done before, okay? To become the person that you have never been before, you must do the things that you have never done before. When I heard that, my mind was just, it was blown because, to this day, there have been many moments where I feel stuck in my comfort zone and I don't want to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I feel like sometimes it's just easy to do the things that we're so used to. We don't want to get past our old habits because that's what we feel like is supposed to work. It should be comfortable to us. If I had stayed in my past engineering role, it would feel comfortable, but it wouldn't stretch me to my limits. It wouldn't push me past my comfort zone. It wouldn't transform me into the person that I am today. Me becoming a project manager wasn't just a single decision that changed the rest of my life. It was because I put action, and in that moment, I decided I'm going to do something that I'd never done before. And at least I tried. What's the worst in trying something that's completely different? If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least you try something different. As Albert Einstein is famously quoted for saying, insanity is the definition of trying the same things over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're trying to study for an exam, as an example, maybe you're trying to pass the CAPM exam or the PMP exam, and you're taking these practice quizzes and you're scoring 40%. I just want you to stop what you're doing. Reevaluate. What are you currently doing that is holding you back? Take a step back and look at all the options in front of you. What if instead of just grinding through all these questions and seeing your score stagnate or be at the same level of 40% to maybe 60%, what if you stopped and instead of just mindlessly answering questions, you actually took the time to tear apart the questions that you actually scored incorrectly? What if you dived deeper into studying the questions that you had no idea about? What if you strengthened your weaknesses instead of just studying question after question after question, right? I received dozens of emails telling me, Alvin, I keep scoring like 50% on my practice simulators and I feel like I'm not going to pass my exam. My advice to you, if you're in this situation, is stop what you're doing. Try something different. If what you're doing is not working, stop chasing your old routines and your old habits. Reevaluate. Don't be the fly that's just blindly going in there, flying, against the windowsill, hoping and praying that its sheer force will break the window pane. Remember, we can put our raw effort and our determination into everything that we're doing. But the problem is that those two principles, it does lead to success, but sometimes, just sometimes, those two principles might be the biggest obstacle that's coming in our way, that's preventing us from reaching the larger goals that we have set for ourselves. Raw effort and determination does not always guarantee success. Why is that the case? It's because sometimes doing the same thing over and over again can feel like it's going to work. You have this immense belief that it's going to work out. All things will work out in our favor, right? But the problem here is you have to push yourself and do something differently. You have to take a step back and zoom out. Challenge yourself. Try to embrace things that you've never done before and see, oh wow, I've been doing the same thing over and over again for a month and I've been getting the same results. Now is probably the right time for me to reevaluate. See, where am I going here with this? What do I want to do in my life? Or why am I doing it this way? What if I try something different? As a real example, with this YouTube channel, I'm trying out different filming styles, filming techniques. I've tried filming in front of like this monitor with slides. I've tried filming, on a countertop where you can see my couch behind me. I've tried filming in this office space. I'm just trying things differently because I want to see what kind of videos will hopefully resonate with you more so that you watch more of my content, but also just to freshen things up a bit. YouTube is hard, by the way, but that's one of the biggest reasons why for me, not only do I have to push myself every single day and not always embrace what used to work, I have to try things differently. And so I encourage you, push yourself. When things feel stale, that's the time to challenge yourself. Push yourself to go one step ahead to where you actually want to go. If you're stuck in this box, right? And you're just stuck doing the same thing. What if you expanded that box? But to expand that box, you have to do things that feel very uncomfortable. It can feel stressful and can give you anxiety. Like filming this video for me was actually, I wasn't sure how I would talk about it or what talking points would be, but I pushed myself to go on camera and talk about it because this was a recent topic that I read about in the book. And I believed in it so much that I truly believe that if you just apply this principle of not just raw effort, not hard determination, but really stepping outside of your comfort zone and embracing the uncertainty behind it all and taking a risk that trying this new thing, maybe it's this new strategy, this new tactic, try to see if it works. Try it for one day. Try it for a week. You see, if there's anything I've learned in my personal and professional life over the many decades here, there's no such thing as failure. Everything that we do leads to a result. And what we need to do is reframe our mindset to viewing failures as lessons or results. For example, I recently launched a video called Starbucks CEO Increased Salaries by Only 2%. It only got, I think, 200 views, right? And I felt devastated. I thought, wow, wouldn't people want to know that what is the typical salary increase of professional employees? And I even did an entire breakdown of if you made 60,000, if you made 80,000, if you made 100,000, here's what the salary projections will be in 2026. But not a lot of people watched it. At first, I viewed it as a complete failure, but I reframed it to think, wow, okay, that was a result. That topic probably didn't resonate with you. That probably isn't something that my entire audience wants to watch. So that's a lesson that I learned. But that video was an entire experiment. I was trying something differently. There is no way that I can evolve myself personally and professionally and also on YouTube if I just don't try new things all the time. That's just one example. But for you, I want you to leave with this message. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I want this video to inspire you so that you believe that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. But to go from point A to where you want to go to point B, you can't just do the same thing over and over again. You have to embrace uncertainty. You have to embrace the risk that, yeah, it may not work out, but at least you're trying something differently. But it's those small iterations of getting back on your feet, learning that, hey, this didn't work. Let me try a different path. Oh, that path didn't work. Let me try out path C. Because every lesson we learned gets us one step closer to the reality that we want for ourselves. My friend, we're not dream chasers. We imagine dreams in our mind, but you know what we do? We turn our dreams into reality by putting things into motion and taking action. Make 2026 your year of taking solid, massive action so that you can become the person that you're meant to become. By the way, if you're enjoying this kind of video, definitely leave me a comment down below. I want to hear from you. What is one goal that you want to accomplish for 2026? Let me know your thoughts and what you want to accomplish by the end of next year. I personally found that just by committing to it and publicly announcing what my goals are helps me be one step closer to actually achieving it in the real world. Last year, or I think 2 years ago, I announced that I was going to take my PMI ACP exam on this YouTube channel. And there were many times I wanted to quit and give up. But because I publicly announced it on this YouTube channel, I knew I couldn't just throw in the towel and give up. And so I dedicated myself, even when the times were tough for me, to still keep going, even though I was balancing a full-time job, my family, and this YouTube channel. I kept going even though I was struggling to even pass my practice exam quizzes and my simulators. I didn't want to feel like an embarrassment. And I also didn't want to tell you publicly on YouTube that, hey, I failed my PMI ACP exam. So if that resonates with you, I want you to publicly announce in the comment section what is your goal that you want to accomplish for 2026. Let's crush our next year for 2026 and let's turn our dreams into realities. Let's do this. You and I are going to make 2026 our best year ever. Let's go. Let's do this, and I'll see you in the next video.